Chicken Nuggets versus the Hot Suns, the hot heat of the Miami, of the South Beach Heat, taking it to the Nuggets on their home court. First loss of the playoffs for the Nuggets at home. I'm taking this back to South Beach. Looking pretty good, looking pretty comfortable. I got to admit, that was a great game up until even at the last minute there, We're going to get into it, but man, that was a close one. The Heat were probably anticipating to just handle Jokic and the entire Nuggets team differently. We know we're not going to be getting Aaron Gordon getting 12 points in the first quarter again, Murray, obviously, he can have his ups and downs, and even though he had a down game today, it's really Jokic. They had to pick, and they chose. They chose that we were not going to make him pass the ball and make him take as many of those soft little floaters in the paint. That's exactly what ended up happening, And it was quite a great start for Miami because that is exactly what they needed to do. But in my opinion, yes, you can have a 10-point lead in the first quarter, but you got to be able to protect that. And that's kind of one of the biggest problems here. We were seeing that the Nuggets, they can be down 10, but then they can come right back, and they came storming back. But hey, Miami, nice comeback, eventually leading to that fourth quarter there, riding the threes from Vincent and Robinson. Yeah, plus getting stops as well. It was very important. Very important. Kept a solid lead for a lot of that fourth quarter, but man, it was strange to see Murray not really get involved and not play like his normal self, right? It's like he was always knocking down shots just consistently. Jamal Murray is one of the most consistent players at getting points in every quarter. You're not going to see him 5 in the first and then 10 in the fourth. He's always going to probably have 6 or 7 in each quarter. And that had been carrying over to just a very, very excellent performance whenever he's on the floor. Just consistently getting it done. And Jokic had to put all of that, I don't know why Jokic was taking all of those shots that he was. Porter didn't get involved. Gordon didn't get involved. You would think you would go right back to that, right? You would go right back to what was working in Game 2. Denver, we're gonna be gathering more assists cumulatively. Only 4 assists for Jokic. Unfortunate, that's just what happened. But man, we can see 2 huge differences here in games 1 and 2, right? So with that in mind, Porter, Gordon not very involved. With 3:30 left in the fourth quarter, there was a 12-point lead for Miami, and then they cut it to 6 right away. And I was thinking, man, those threes could not have been more important, timely. Gordon with a 3, and then Murray. And then Murray made another 3 to cut the lead to just a few points. Adebayo, some clutch free throws, and then they were just able to cap it off because Murray missed a 3 at the end right there. But man, if he made that shot, that would have been etched into NBA Finals history. The 3 he made before that, great call by Mike Breen, was very reminiscent of the Ray Allen 3. It was like rebound by Jokic, right back to Murray, his 3-pointer, bang. It's a classic formula. It's a winning formula. We appreciate that as consumers of sports everywhere. But man, Miami coming back, probably going to put on a show. They do play really well on the road, though, so I'm not crazy about thinking that Miami has home court advantage here. Home court advantage doesn't really exist in the playoffs. The crowd helps, but again, another one of these intangibles, things that you can't really quantify. It's not really going to matter when it comes down to it. When you need to make a shot. I think Butler had played really, really well in this past game, and Adebayo's been so consistent. My goodness. Just the bench kind of up and down, but it's Butler doesn't have to get 40 every night like he did last time they were in the finals. So, yeah, anyway, but interesting formulation. I did want the series to go a little bit farther. Can we go to 6 games, please? So, yeah. But Florida, in other news, Florida Panthers, Vegas Golden Knights. Florida took 2 weeks off playing hockey, and they just could not counter with Vegas. Vegas was just pressuring them so much more, taking a lot of penalties. Florida was just undisciplined. They were giving the puck away. They were not able to control their own defensive zone. Vegas was penetrating them, getting their shots through. Meanwhile, Florida, there was one instance when Dylan Cousins, is that his name, Nick Cousins? I don't know who Dylan Cousins is. Nick Cousins was about to drive in on Aiden Hill, get into Vegas's defensive zone. He was going to pull it back and score. Just very reminiscent. Again, this was like, it looked like the goal that he scored in the OT winner against Toronto. And Nick Cousins gets the shot blocked. You have guys like Pietrangelo, Shea Theodore, doing it defensively, and of course offensively, we all know what they are capable of doing. Quite amazing. But man, they could not connect. Florida was just all over the place. They couldn't get their passes through like they did against the Hurricanes season. However, all this is to say that you're just coming off of having a huge rest, which you can say is consequential to needing to recuperate. But this is the new team, a new opponent. You're traveling to Vegas. You've had 2 weeks off. I'm not really concerned about this or the Florida or Bobrovsky, because Florida have been the guys that no one really knows how well they're going to play each night. Like, that is the truth. No one really knows if the Panthers are going to lose 6-1 or win 4-3 in overtime. It's been turning into the latter because they've been able to just capitalize on these huge moments. They've only lost 2 out of their last 13 games, going back to game 4 against Boston, putting all that together, and they've just been riding that, and that's exactly what's happening here. They're going to ride that. They're going to continue to find that we don't care about the narrative that Vegas is absolutely 100% the favorite here, okay? Vegas has gotten so much more powerful, so much more offensive talent. Since they were in the final last time in 2018, they have added Max Pacioretty. They've added Mark Stone. They've added Mark Stone. They've added Alex Pietrangelo. And they've added Jack Eichel. Like, this is a winning lineup here. Formulaic. Huge. Bobrovsky, obviously, just a rough night. Everyone's kind of expecting, okay, Bobrovsky lets in 4 or 5 goals or whatever the case was. That's not indicative of the rest of the playoffs here against Vegas. Like, this is not just gonna keep happening because he's been like 930, 940 save percentage. I don't think we can expect that this is a sign now. That's indicative of what's to come, okay? The only thing that can stop him is the opponents, as well as how he is able to play against himself. And they just got to get right back into being comfortable playing an opponent. And it's a new one, and it happens to be the Stanley Cup final where everything's on the line. New opponent, best in the West. So everything's coming down to this. Game 2 for Florida and Vegas coming up later this week, Monday. And stretching it out, you know. I was kind of surprised that, like, why was Vegas and Florida, why did they take so much time in between Vegas was done about 6 days ago, and Florida's just kind of been sitting around. It's really weird. I thought they would have sped it up because I thought the NBA scheduling was kind of long. It's like, and now Florida took that huge break. But hey, we're in June now, okay? Everything is kind of like even more so under the microscope because June is very finite and it doesn't last long. You got to bring it. If you were good in October or good in November, nobody cares anymore. Because right now, that looks like it doesn't even exist. That doesn't even look like it's in this universe. And that's why we can celebrate moments like this with a team like the Florida Panthers, the 8th seed, Miami Heat, the 8th seed, coming in, showing up, doing their thing, doing what they can, the best of their abilities to win. Hopefully Florida can come back as well and tie up that series. I want it to go long as well. So, yeah.